certain people, especially in our country, and I'm sorry to say I'm very hard in this country because I believe in the American values and all
Mm-hmm.
that crap that goes with it, Black Power.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that it's not. It's a little bit of everyone's fault. It's the marketers' fault for just caring about wanting to sell money and make records and do this, and they don't give a damn about the effects of it. It's their fault. It's the consumer's fault for not taking better care of what they're getting into their space, whether it's music, negativity, sex, drugs, lies, whatever it is. And it's also the outside part, whether it's religion or community members, stuff like that, who
Mm-hmm.
sit up there and put a standard such as most people go to drugs and sex and all that stuff and don't know the full consequences of it because people say, don't do it. You can't do this. They're not
Yeah, or
explained
mm,
to, okay, if you have sex, it's going to be a great thing. It's going to have a great feeling in the world. But here's what also happens to sex. You might have a chance to get STD. You might get someone's pregnant. If you get someone pregnant, A, B, C, D, E, F, G might happen. Not enough people are getting that. So marketers, especially the movie industry, they just sit there and say, well, we want tons of money. We want to get in our yachts. We want to run around. And the artist's going to say, well, hell, I got kids to feed. I got a house to put up. I got things I want to do with my life. Let me go ahead. And the hip hop industry as a whole, I feel like they get the bad end of the stick, but that's a long time later. But their culture is, I need money, cars. We got to have on the BET Awards. Have you always noticed they have a gold iced out chain or something? They have to have some earrings on, and everything is blinged out. That was marketed as the culture. So every consumer or who likes that wants to have that culture, and they'll do anything to get it. And they're not educated in that's not might not be what you want to do. You know how much that stuff costs, how to afford it, how it's going to look, but do they care? No. So it just depends. You can't help everybody.
I think that we should, we should, as
so
a
we
people, we should be the change we like to
good.
see. So if you don't like what hip hop is projecting, then switch it up, change it. The
Well,
change
see,
starts with
that's the
me
problem. That's
finding
it's
out
not hip hop. It's the
what
it's
it
the
is.
few people that these
The whole
companies want to
industry.
push, right? Because there's tons of hip hop artists that are mad positive. I hate when people say, "Oh, hip hop's the problem." No, it's these companies that are pushing, this male dominated, let's treat women like they're a bunch of objects, pushing drugs. I mean, how many people in the 90s was smoking weed and doing all these other stuff that they wouldn't have done if Snoop Dogg wasn't, if the Chronic never came out? you know?
I think the
Okay, but honestly,
personally.
you can't.
Now, I will say this,
I
though.
don't think.
I will say this. Hip hop does get a bad rep
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot, like, I've seen rock stars talk about the fun people talk about We Are Young. The beginning of their song, they was talking about some girl being passed out drunk and they carrying her, but everybody was like, oh my God, I love that song. But
Mm.
I'm sitting here thinking, wait a minute. They just talk about they was drinking and doing all this stuff, and this girl is passed out. That's dangerous in her life and
Right.
her body. And they talk about We Are Young, and everybody's jamming to the song. But as soon as some hip hop artists talk about a girl or a G string or somebody sliding a credit card down somebody's ass, everybody mad, they're all up in arms. But rock stars talk about everything and they want to, and Justin Bieber can do all the things. Got girls cutting themselves for him,
And,
but they're not doing
and yep, and that's the issue with how the world has come from way back in the day till now, where in the end of the day, at the end of the day, racism still kind of it's still there, just silently,
It exists.
honestly. And that's what I was trying to say in the beginning about the Emmy Awards, about Kerry Washington, how everyone was hoping she'd win it, but at the end of the day, she didn't. And how many other black actors or actresses have won an Emmy? Very few. Like I have this fact right here that throughout this was the 63rd year of history of the Emmy Awards, and 5% of the total number was only the nominations of black actors. 5%.
Wow.
That's a small number. That is a very small number, and that shows a lot already. And this is just through TV. So if It's everything. TV, movies, films, and that's kind of like what inspired me, honestly. 2 years
Okay,
ago.
I'm gonna ask a question. I'm very serious about this question. If you ever went to school, been in honors or AP classes, or went to college or whatnot, or even if you see people in your industry, because for me, I'm in more of the writing, I love the arts, design, painting, and communication industry, like for advertising. And for me, I get a little discouraged when I never see any African Americans, like no African American startup companies, no founders, no CEOs. I get very depressed when I see no women, which is very rare, and I get a little discouraged because I'm like, well, damn, where's everybody at? Do they not get? And I wonder, and I do believe that yeah, it's
And
partially to blame, but I hate when people say everyone's afforded the same opportunity, and they're not.
Mm.
And it's like what you said, Kerry Washington. I believe she should have won an Emmy. She did a great
right, and
job.
I also right, right, and everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. And then I was also reading on something else where Anthony Mackie, he's an actor, he had commented on how blacks are lazy,
Uh,
related to certain networks. Like we don't have those resources, and that we're lazy. Like putting that into a category is, first of all, don't. You're
Wait.
talking about
He
your
said
own
that
show,
black people are
and
lazy
that's
in
your opinion, and
television.
that's what you think about everybody.
let me
Yeah,
let me Google him real quick.
yeah. And his interview on PBS. Yeah,
Oh wow.
the fact that he even said that is like you're throwing everybody on the under the bus, because there are tons of people. I mean, every minority
Well, you
group
know what?
that is
At this
working their
point,
ass off,
he's
trying to build their brand, their name.
right.
That's ignorant.
There's only about like 10 to 14 male black actors that once you get into that little bubble, they get all the work. So, you know, it's really a shame that Anthony Mackie's at that point where he's one of the chosen few to get all the work for him to say something like that. That's very reckless. I'm very, very surprised that he would do that.
I'm never gonna watch a movie from him again or any kind of show supporting him because that was completely out of line. And I don't know where he come from, but I come from black people work their asses off. So I don't understand where he came from, but I know school directors and teachers and principals and people who work for the FBI who are African American, they kick ass and they work their ass off. So I want to tell that to him in his face. I don't appreciate that. That's very rude.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And I also understand that, I mean, the people that are non-white or whatever, and have their own companies and are CEOs, and are building their own brand, they're starting off low. So they're, I mean, I know a lot of people that I follow on Instagram that they're their own CEO founders, and mostly for like natural hair stuff. And I, because I'm natural, so I follow that little, and they're coming up, like,
Little
honestly.
plug.
I pay
I'm
attention to
natural.
it.
I
Yeah.
just.
Okay.
No, but I am saying, though, that there's a lot of CEOs that they're doing their thing, and
There's a
they're not
lot of
getting
people out there.
recognition. But
And you know
Oh,
what? Not playing devil's advocate on it, and not just trying to be a smartass on it. To be honest, with the whole thing with rappers, and it's not really about Kanye, just in general. I think it does become a level of standards, and I think Alba's right. You know, I'm hoping that more of the, like you say, the new crop, the new generation of artists, do bring up that standard level back lyrically. And I'm not saying that everything has to be PG. I'm not saying that everything has to be able to be sung in a mosque or a temple or a church, but there's got to be a level of beginning, middle, and end, knowing how to tell a story, or consciously, I am not going to tell a story because this is what I'm trying to do musically on purpose. Like, there is a way to have a nonsense song, but have intelligent behind it versus just saying anything you want to say, just random. I'm gonna blurt anything out just for
right,
controversy, and we
right,
gotta
like
lift
Soldier
it up.
Boy, he needs to go away.
Yeah, There's a lot of stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of people out there that's just like, you know, that's again, oh, the statement I was saying before about Kendrick Lamar. I don't really like him as a rapper. I think he can rap,
Whoa.
but you like him a lot? You love him?
I love Kendrick.
I love his
Yeah.
personality. I like how he's working it and he's pushing himself to the forefront. I respect him so much. And
He's not just pushing himself. He's pushing all the other artists. He's challenging everyone, honestly.
Right.
Because no one has like back then it was that West Coast slash versus East Coast thing. You know, he's not really doing that, but he challenged everyone. Like he said the names, and he's talking about everybody. What's up?
Well, I
Where's
mean,
the real game at?
it's the old
I
school
respect
way of
that.
I
Not
want to
only
be
because he's my
huge
favorite
overnight.
artist.
I want to be huge overnight. And that's what you do. I mean, if I was a rapper,
And
I would call people out too, because everyone would talk about it, and I'd sell more albums.
Why can't we as artists just make music, art, and love just for the love of it? Why does it have to be this competition of like the best rapper? I really hate that about hip hop because like that really brought it into his female rappers. It's with male rappers. Everybody wants to be the baddest. Everybody wants to be the best. And I kind of understand the concept. Don't get me wrong. I really do. And it gives you something to rap about. It gives you another topic. But if we simmer down on focusing on other people's talents and just really kind of focused on our own, I feel like we could better our craft versus like calling out others. Because if I was a rapper, I definitely wouldn't call out other people. I would totally just be in my zone and be like
Because-
Erykah Badu, for example.
Right.
Rarely
Badu.
that she just does it and stays in her lane. She stays in her lane. That's what we need to do. We just need to stay in our lane and just do us, do what God blessed us to do, and then everybody will be fine. But we can't do that because we're so in competition with each
Actually,
other.
to be honest with you, I think you're thinking too deep into
never
it.
gonna happen.
It's about selling records. If I challenge somebody, look, we're talking
So
about it.
now it's about selling records. Just a couple minutes ago.
I'm not saying it's right.
Like the man.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that an artist like Kendrick Lamar is doing the same thing 50 Cent did, because it's easy to push yourself to the forefront by creating some magical beef. So he said, instead of going after one person, I'm gonna do machine gun and hit everybody, and all their fans are gonna talk about me. I think it's cheap. I think it's lazy. I think it has nothing to do with the craft. But I'm laughing at the fact that Kendrick Lamar did it that way. It was brilliant.
I have a couple of things and more.
Oh, I know you do. Go ahead, bud.
If it was me, I would just
Number one, I'm not ashamed to say, and I'm very proud of it, that I've heard Kendrick Lamar's name a couple of times. I don't know what he looks like, and neither do I care. But I will have to say is the things I have heard about him, I've heard good things. I mean, if you're trying to sell records, hell, he's doing a good
please
job.
share.
But my thing is, who, like, it depends. Everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own thing. I do agree with Brandon. I'd rather listen to the people I listen to stay in their own damn lane. I got time for beef. I ain't got time for drama.
Mm-hmm.
I will Kareem Bailey Ray my ass to sleep. I will Janelle Monáe.
yes.
I will call Tyrone.
Yes.
I will Purple Rain it down to work. I don't care what it is. That's just me.
There you go.
But in any industry, not just hip hop, not just music, a lot of people like we say phone companies, for instance. How many Verizon commercials have you seen talk about AT&T and Sprint and everybody else? How many Sprint commercials have you seen talk about everybody else? It's basic competition. I don't think we can fault a rapper if they do it that way for that point, because it's basic competition.
Right.
And no matter what industry you're in, you're taking money from somebody else. Somebody will take money for you, or you might be the same demographic. It just happens in every industry. You can't get mad if they call them out. They call them out. If that's their tactic, that's their tactic. It works. Now, I can't get mad at the Texans. I love it. But
I agree.
It works.
if he's great at what he does, and that is a tactic, I don't think nobody can get mad at him. And from all I've heard from other people, they love him based on his music. They never talked about him calling people out. Me personally, I don't give a damn about what he does, but if it works for him and everybody loves it, I mean, hey, go ahead and do what you do.
And the beautiful part about it is it's not real.
You.
So there's no beef because they all know he's just doing it and it's working. And I think that's the thing I like about it both. If you notice, when people have done it in the past, it did kind of almost turn into a thing, but this is not real. He's just trying to push himself, you know.
Okay.
And
I
he's
don't
actually
agree with
good.
that. But he is very good.
Yeah. Well, he's good. Very good. Now you're going.
Yeah, he's very good. Don't get me started.
Very good, right?
Get you in the studio. That's what I do. Actually, Alba, you should do a diss record on what's the name? Nicki Minaj.
Alba, don't you do no diss record. I'll just mess you out.
No,
No,
Alba.
I
I
got your back. Don't
And
do
then we
that.
get Brandon to sing the hook. You know
Nah.
what I'm saying?
Right?
I do not listen to her. I don't think she's an artist.
Yes, Alba, yes.
Oh, see the beef. We got it right now. The beef live.
Oh, no, okay,
Alba's going
I'm gonna
after
run Nicki's defense.
Nicki Minaj.
No, I'm
Yep.
gonna run for Nicki's defense.
Seriously, no.
I would say, first of all, I don't feel like we as humans have the right to call out other people as being an artist or not an artist.
Actually-
You're an artist if you say you're an artist. If you say that, when I'm writing it,
Hold on, Brandon.
if I wrote that down and said that was art. No. Listen, if you say that, if I write down Mary Had a Little and I think that that's art, that's my decision to make. It's my art, and I feel that I'm an artist.
Right,
feel
but
like
it's
others
the same
have-
way.
Alba, you do it the nice way. I do it the mean way.
It's the same way. It's the same way as you saying that's a good actor and that's a bad actor. Your critique. My
Also-
critique is my critique. So if I don't think she's an
But
artist,
I
I'm gonna
don't
say it loud.
nevertheless an artist, though.
I'll say it's based
Okay,
on
but
professionalism too.
what-
But you can't be
Okay.
a professional artist and just draw a cat, or just like painting wise, such as I'm a writer. I can say a writer because writers get published. I've been published, so therefore I'm a writer. I'm a professional writer. Anybody can write a poem or write a short story, and you can be a writer. To be a professional writer or professional artist or professional researcher, you have to go through a certain jumps and hoops. You
But
can't.
does that make you any less of an artist, though? Because my things
Right.
are published.
Well,
like that doesn't make you any less
not
of an
any-
artist.
No, not any less. But I guess there are levels. Like there just are. It's like if you have a regular job, for example, you're a cashier at a small boutique or a restaurant. That's kind of low. But if you were to be in like, I don't know, Fifth Avenue type store, like chic and stuff, then that's kind of going up. I mean,
Well, you know what? I let me
But that's
pose this to
still-
you guys and tell me if this is correct. Technically, yes. If you make something or you're creative, whatever like that, it is arguable that you can say that you're an artist because this is what I do. And if you get paid for it, you know, whatever your profession. But I don't think we're really critiquing if someone is an artist or not. I think it's more so critiquing the end product. We're actually critiquing the art,
Well, that's
not the
always
actual,
that
not the creator, but the creation. Does that make sense?
the creation will always be up for discussion. Like that will never
Yeah.
become a well. Everyone's like,
Right.
I love it. Like,
Right.
every-
Yeah, yeah.
So the quality is gonna be debatable regardless, and that's across the board. I think that's something we all can agree on. But I just didn't. What sparked me
right,
up
and that's
was-
exactly what I mean by levels.
Yeah, and I get that. But what sparked me up is when you said like she's not an artist, and I'm like, whoa, like we all are artists. If I create, I'm an artist. That's my thing. That's what I do.